Thank you, January. Hello again, everyone. I am here with Ethereum Foundation's Tomasz. Tomasz, intro yourself and share a bit your background and kind of what you're focused on.
Hi everyone. I'm Tomasz, and Tomasz Stańczak, and I've been working with Ethereum Foundation for the last year as a co-executive director. I'm stepping down in a few weeks. I'm in the end of February to focus mostly on the freestyling on the agentic AI side. So coming back to Nethermind, is a company that I founded. Nethermind is like one of the major infrastructure builders in the Ethereum space, building Nethermind client. Before that, I was also in the finance industry, in banks and hedge funds in London, but that was more than 8 years ago. So a big part of my last year's story was kind of communicating and connecting all the aspects of the Ethereum ecosystem. So enterprise, founders, builders with AI exploration, but also community builders. So places like ETHDenver. I think that bringing more of EF to ETHDenver was also part of the story.
Awesome. And as for myself, I'm the host of the podcast AI Curious, and also the podcast The People's AI, which is focused on decentralized AI. So this is very much kind of fascinating to me. I'm curious. I have so many questions for you. We could talk for 5 hours. I think we would still not come close to getting there. But in our limited time, Tomasz, let's start with how would you describe the Ethereum Foundation's North Star with respect to AI? What's your guiding principle?
I think on one side you have Ethereum Foundation, which has the AI team, Decentralized AI, and you have this two-pager vision which touches on one side things related to DAC, so defensive acceleration, the verification of models, verification of data that falls into models, and on the other side, they have the acceleration aspect of working with founders, agentic AI, bringing agents on chain, agentic commerce, standards for accelerating that agentic adoption.
It's almost like defense and offense, it sounds like.
Yeah, I think that's how the team works. And even if you've been at the opening ceremony today, very nice talk from Vitalik showing this is how many things are changing, this is how many new opportunities are appearing with the LLMs, with AI. And then the warning, keep remembering about the security issues, the trust concerns when using LLMs, and this is the list of problems. And I think that's really representing the modern EF approach. You keep running and keep staying secure at the same time. I've shared it many times that the best teams in the world, they move very fast and they deliver the absolutely top quality of solutions. When you fail on any of those, then you're no longer the top team. And Ethereum should be the absolutely top team, top engineers, top researchers. We have it, so we can move fast and we can deliver safe, well-tested systems that never break, and they continue to deliver on that promise of credible neutrality. So I think that's a North Star. Deliver AI on Ethereum. That's overwhelmingly using Ethereum. That Ethereum delivers real value for agentic commerce, and it delivers also on safety, security aspects of AI. That would be North Star if I had to have to describe it.
If I can use that framework you mentioned of there's a bit of defensive work or a lot of defensive work, and then kind of be more ambitious and accelerationist. Unpack a bit what the biggest challenges are for defense. You mentioned authenticity. Where do you see kind of the biggest risks or gaps, and what are you guys doing to close those gaps?
Well, so at the moment we see a lot of agentic adoption where people want to play with agents and give them access to their private keys. I don't think we have to worry too much about people losing those private keys, because most people that are experimenting now are really pioneers, so they know what they're doing with the experiments. So they, like Kevin Owaki sharing how he lost the private key access, how the agent got jailbroken by the GitHub injection of the prompt injection. So those people want to go through that experience of losing and knowing how, what kind of attacks, what kind of security breaches can be there. But in the long term, we have definitely big challenges of how the agents can manage private keys or access to accounts. Lots of questions around identity. How much it is worth to prove that you're a human, and if it's worth much, and hopefully it is, than to actually be able to prove humanity. And then there is aspect of governance. If you allow LLMs to participate in governance, how you remove bias and how you ensure that the training is safe, that the LLM invocations are not really designed to bias Ethereum development. The moment when we enable agents to participate in all core devs as moderators, as EAP creators, some basic challenges, but generally privacy concerns in general with LLMs are crazy, right? When we allow bots to manage all our personal day-to-day thing. And this is what happens with OpenClaw. And it's almost like consistently we have that if the corporations grow to the level where their legal teams are saying you cannot do this, then the opportunity appears for the founder to say, oh yeah, so I'll just ignore all of that and allow people to just access all their privacy, all their accounts and lose all the money and I'll just release it as an open source. And that's how many startups were born, I think. But we have to think about long term, how to actually bring them back to that stage where people feel safe.
Yeah, so since you mentioned governance, let's go there now. Be abstracting one level above the tech here, how are you thinking almost philosophically even about the interplay of like human governance versus agentic or AI governance? I mean, it's kind of hard to get your arms around of what this could look like in the future. Like what role should AI play in governance?
Yeah, I see it as a very natural progression. So last year when I was observing core developers deciding on some EIPs, I would see, oh, they're reaching out to LLMs and they're asking questions. Like they would have lots of their expert knowledge, but there would be a very contentious EIP. They would go to LLMs and say, you know, I know this, and this. This is all the material that I collected. Tell me whether this IP should pass or not. And sure, the final decision is theirs, but LLM already participated in conversation. And like if rough consensus is achieved through conversations and through convincing each other with the arguments, then it means that LLM was already participating in the all-core dev decision just by being asked a question and responding whether they think whether this EIP should go in or not. So this is the first stage. And then you just extrapolate and you think, okay, so then it's very natural now for any new EIP idea that you have as a core dev. Like, I think I've never created an EIP because I was always thinking, I'll have to submit that PR, and it's like a very specific structure to EIP. And then even if I tried, always the bot came back and said, you didn't specify this. Now I feel like, whenever I have an idea, I just go to LLM and say, generate EIP for me, follow the standards, and I can submit it. And if I have a bot, then I can even say, you have your own GitHub account, just generate the AP.
But when everyone has that, though.
Everyone has it, exactly.
Right.
So you have this natural progression. Since I have it, so it means that everyone, whoever has an idea now can generate the IP. So then you have suddenly millions of submissions because you can almost like Sybil attack this. And the moment when you have it, then either you say that the process is strictly whitelisted, which is not what you want to have in Ethereum because you don't want to have whitelisted governance. Ethereum governance is really vague. You're not officially belonging to a core devs or not, which means that the only defense is that you start reviewing EIPs with agents. So then you launch the process that says for every EIP, just review it agentic. And then this is EIP editors that say, this is very well trained agent that says this EIP is valuable, this not. But then you have those two forces that start almost like competing for attention. How much compute you can throw at generating new EIPs versus reviewing the EIPs. Yeah, you have like pretty good advantage at defense side because you can keep rejecting quite a big effort in preparing something. Now, after this is in place, and this is natural progression, you already want to have those tools. Like people already ask about those tools and they'll be using them. Then you have moderators of all core devs asking for the same thing as like, I want to have a help to participate in the all core dev calls. And I said, if you generate an agent now that is capable to generate a voice, talk, I can even fake it and present.
Oh, for sure.
Treat it as my voice and my video.
2 years from now, physical bodies will be
send the bots to represent me, and I actually officially say this bot represents me, and it starts talking to people at Core Devs and start championing my EIP. It's legit. I mean, like I asked it for it, and then when people say this EIP doesn't work, and raise like some particular issue, security issue, then practically agentic way you can say, oh, right, okay, I already fixed it. See the improvement within like seconds. And all core dev accelerates a lot. And then you have moderator, and then you have broadcast to forecast.org, where people can in real time get feedback about how the all core dev process progresses. And you can connect to the forecast, and you almost have like a TV channel which talks to you within your context. It knows how much you know about all core devs, and instead of telling you what really is happening, it tells you something that you will understand and it will improve your knowledge.
So is this a good thing?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's natural. It's unavoidable.
Where is the human? So, like, if we have this kind of like this massive struggle between offense and defense of AI here, going back to like just super old fuddy-duddy ideas of governance, the idea we want to make sure the community has different, the different voices are heard, and we make sure human voices are heard. Like, to use a kind of cliche, where is the human in the loop? How do we ensure that humans' needs, human voices, human judgment is still centered in that ecosystem?
So where for the longest the humans stay, one is the final decisions on the all core devs that people will be listening to. So in the end, there is a strong legitimacy with the top core devs where the entire ecosystem will look at what they said in the end and will follow that. And for a while, I think this will be stronger, but at some point, there will be a switch when people think, actually those agents they're smart, we can listen to them instead or treat them the same. But for a long time, this is where the humans stay, including the moderators of ACD. They will just use the agents as help. And there's one more place, which is validator operators. They have a lot of money at stake, and they decide whether...
It's like the humans or the janitors, the validators.
Well, that's how it is. I mean, like, it's very, very sophisticated, creative, and very expert janitors, but I think the bar at which how long you can stay the core dev will be higher and higher. We say that nowadays already it's hard to hire...
No shots fired, by the way. At anyone, no, it's a hard job. No shots fired. It's a very hard job.
It's tough. It's tough. So, the validator operators will say, do I accept it or not? And because they really think that their money is at stake, literally, they may use agents to hint them what to decide. And at some point, the all core dev process will get so fast and so difficult, then most likely validator operators would just deploy agents and say, keep telling me what I should approve. And most of the time they'll say, okay, I don't understand this anymore. And they'll just keep saying approve, approve, approve. And at this moment, when all of this automates, you have fully autonomous Ethereum, actually. And there you have this huge risk. But then it means that LLM's training is critical because it defines the culture of Ethereum and the biases, which means that we should already start talking critically about how to train LLMs that represent Ethereum values, and then what it means, the Ethereum values. Does it become political, religious? It's crazy.
Yeah, you posted a few days ago in X, the future of Ethereum is autonomous.
I think
a very spicy post, and I think that you just unpacked it right there.
Yeah. This is what I'm talking about here,
So, Tomasz, how do you see AI changing how people navigate the blockchain, and whether it's wallets or other impacts? What other changes need to be made, whether it's a wallet design or any other, what other kind of the big shifts we have to be prepared for and work now to make sure that it's long-term sustainable?
I think that the one metric to track will be how much people spend directly, or like how much fees they generate directly, and how much they're spending via agents. And every company that creates products will track this ratio between these two numbers and thinks, who do I target my product at? Like, is it at humans or agents? And over time, it should be that the agents will be spending more and more, and humans directly less and less, which means that I always will use blockchain via agents. And I'll make, you can easily imagine me saying, no longer going to Amazon website or any other website and thinking, this is a hassle, and necessary hassle to click the buttons on the grocery. I just say, hey, agent, buy me bananas, buy me like this graphic card or something. And I don't bother. And I already experimented with it. It's exactly what happens. I said, host a blog for me, buy the domain. And this was the agent that decided it will use Versal and Versal domain. I said, whatever you decide, which means that everything changes in a way that you have to choose. Do you target agents, humans? If you target agents, then you're rewriting the entire UX to AX, agentic experience. And the agents will ask for things they want. It's like when I was running my bot over weekend, it said to me every 4 hours was reaching out and saying, can you solve that CAPTCHA for me? can you solve this CAPTCHA? And I said like,
That's adorable.
yeah, I'm CAPTCHA solver. So I said, like, can you
There's
use
still
something?
room for humans after all. CAPTCHA
Yeah.
solvers.
But at some point, like the CAPTCHAs will no longer be valid.
Yeah.
And that means that agents, and somebody deployed that funny website that says like, prove that you're an agent.
Yeah, by like
Agent.
10,000, do
Yeah.
10,000 times in 10 seconds.
All the
Yeah.
CAPTCHAs super difficult and fast. And then you switch to the product that doesn't have CAPTCHAs, that is actually servicing agents. And that's what you have to start building. So you're no longer building wallets with the UI. You're no longer building block explorers with the UI. You're no longer building even the World Wide Web, but no browsing experience, because the agents will be faster in interacting via some very fast protocols with other agents, paying most likely with stablecoins sooner or later. And I think very soon we'll see the agents feeling like, I want to be an Ethereum. It makes me a really sophisticated agent. If you give me Ethereum account and if you load some ETH on my account, then I'll feel like better than other agents. And if you have this, then really you start thinking now of the marketing to agents, convincing them that look, this is really when you're the strongest, when you have the most opportunities. So you're rethinking marketing, you're rethinking the UX, you're rethinking the infrastructure, the pricing. Vitalik talked about this today as well, in details. And so there's so many opportunities to build now. It's too exciting.
So if I hear right, Tomasz, ETHDenver in 3 to 5 years will be just in the cloud, in a GPU, in a computer. There's no need for humans. We'll be just dusting off.
I think human-to-human interaction will be what will stay for us. Be very important, but it will mostly share ideas and then implement them very quickly, right? Like by just talking about them. It's almost like a conversation between two people at ETHDenver with two phones listening may generate on the fly the products related to the ideas that are generated from the conversation. This is very futuristic, but you asked me for 5 years from now. So ETHDenver now feels like the beginning of those like agentic experimentation.
I love it. Spicy vision from Tomasz. Thank you, Tomasz. Thank you all. Thank you, the AI agents out there summarizing this. Thank you all.